Hi everybody. Okay, we're going to talk about a few things we can do at home while we're making our art for the second project. One of the things you can see I'm doing right here is I am making a slab. So since we're going to make a really tiny slab, if you press on it and then flip it, it should start to pick up the flatness of the table you're on. And also you can tell how thick it is. So we're kind of trying for 1/4 of an inch. It could be a little thinner, but the more I press, I can tell how thick it is. I'm trying to press evenly. It's just kind of like the same idea of pinching evenly. And now I have a slab. And then you can add water on both sides, and that should get it pretty smooth. So you'll have to find something at home that's sharp to act as a knife. You can use one of your tools. You can find an X-Acto knife. You can use a knife from the kitchen maybe. But whatever it is, we're going to make a long rectangle and turn this rectangle into the top of our vase. So if you can see on the edge, oh, that's pretty thick. You don't have to make yours that thick, but it's fine if you do, because why not? Don't worry about it if it's too thick. You can see I cut my ends at a slant so they'll be easier to kind of wrap. So here I'm checking on which side is prettier, and that one had a crack, so that's gonna go on the inside. So now I'm just rolling it into a tube with my hands. I'm not using anything to mold it around. I'm just using, maybe that's better for it to be too thick if you're just gonna be molding it yourself. So if it's too thick, that's a good thing. All right, so now you're hiding the seams, the top seam, the bottom seam, and the sides. I can still see it. I'm showing you here. And now I'm just gonna drag the clay across in the direction that it easily goes. After you get it in one way, you might find it's easy to go back and forth both directions. And now you just have to add some water to really smooth any lumps out. Think pinch pot, think everything we've done so far. Just practice smoothing, smoothing, smoothing. So again, I don't know how long this will take because each part we have to take our time on. So if you have a pencil or something, you can actually reach into the inside of the vase neck and hide the seam that way. I couldn't find a pencil, but I found this weird tool in my toolkit, so I just used that. But if I had a pencil, I would have done the same thing. I'm just using the stick end kind of to like drag the inside. So hopefully this makes sense. Now you want to make sure this looks nice and smooth on the top, and then whichever end is uglier, that can be the one you flare out to be the part that connects to our base. I always go with whatever looks lumpier and funkier. That's the part I'm gonna try and hide. So, sorry this is sort of sideways, but currently it doesn't matter. It'll matter at the end. Right now it's okay. So this is like a really large neck for a vase. You'll see of our examples, some are skinny, some are medium, some are large, some are short. It totally is up to you what shape you want, but you do have to have a neck. So this didn't need to be this big, could have been a lot smaller. Also, I realized after the fact that my pinch pots were very small, and so I redid this. But at the time, I thought, oh, this will be perfect. And then I put it on my pinch pots later, and it was way too big. So that's going to be your neck. Make that, set it aside, and then we'll go make our 2 pinch pots. Hopefully you've already made those. That should have been step 1. But you can kind of check them and see what they look like. One is going to be flared. The top edge is going to be flared out like this, so it looks a little wider. And also so that the other one fits inside. It's a little easier to blend that way. Now, before you just go ahead and blend, make sure that edge is really thin. That's pretty thick. I think I left mine pretty thick. The thinner that edge is, the easier it is to drag it up and connect. And again, if I had the side of a pencil, I'm just picking tools that like are really, everybody owns, but you do have modeling tools. So feel free to go grab a modeling tool for this part. But you're dragging that clay over onto the other clay to connect them. Remember, this is called a double pinch pot. And so this is what we're trying to start with to make our vase. And I know it looks messy, it looks scratched. That's okay. Remember, with the same thing with our pinch pots, we smooth everything out. You might not only get to this stage of the first day of this project, and that's okay too. I had a lot of problems with mine because it was too soft. And so I tried to make this example here on this video for you, but my art was way too soft. And so my example's really bumpy and lumpy. Hopefully the descriptions and the other examples are better for you to look at. But remember, if you forgot how to make a double pinch pot from last year, that's pretty much it. And then you can dip your hands in water and make it kind of muddy like I am right now and just smooth, smooth, smooth. So it looks like a really smooth egg. All right, so I made my egg and I let it sit. It was really, really, really muddy until I tried to let it sit for a little bit to dry out. So you guys can come back to it the next day. That's fine too. And you might even have to smooth it more and let it sit longer. Right now I'm tapping one side so it has like a base to sit on. Remember, you can add a foot if you'd like at the end of this. I can see lots of bumps. So while I'm making this video to show everybody the shape and stuff, if I wanted to do this and have a nice vase for myself, I would smooth a few more bumps out. Anyways, okay, I'm trying to round one side pretty fat and pinch one side so it actually does look like an egg. It'll have a skinnier end and a flatter end. And the skinnier end is what it's going to stand on. So it's going to stand like an upside down egg. You can make it skinnier if you want, but that is the shape we're going to go for, upside down egg. Now you can see this is that first neck I made. It was way too big. So I'm going to make a second one and I'll show you in just a second. All right, so I had to do a few repairs on mine and made it actually lumpier. So I'm going backwards, sorry. Pretend that vase looks beautifully smooth. All right, I made a really tiny neck that fits the design I was going for. Now, again, please take your time and make your vase pretty. I'm wetting my vase again, which again, just adds more time for me that I have to wait for it to dry. But I'm telling you ahead of time, I did this really fast to show you on this video. Please, you guys take much longer. This is not like 1 day project. This is probably 3 days. In fact, if you do it too fast and it's messy, you'll just have to sit and do nothing the rest of the days and you won't get a great grade. So take your time. All right, so again, I'm trying to go for the egg shape, but I had dropped it and so I'm smoothing it back out. What is wrong with me? I keep dropping my art. All right, so in general, this is my upside down egg with the flatter side for the base. I'm letting that dry. And then I made a smaller neck. Okay, so I'm going to show, here's a little example of my neck. I'm actually adding a bump to mine. Almost looks like a spout, but that wasn't my intention. I'm going to have my creature is going to be trying to drag or grab the top of my vase. And so it's going to look like it's pulling the mouth open. So there's my tiny little, it's a little bit smaller, maybe half the size, my neck for this size vase. And now I'm actually making an octopus. So I'm going to roll out some legs, and I cheated. I think my octopus has 6 legs. So is that really an octopus? I don't know. Anyways, I'm trying to decide how to make the head. At the end, you guys can totally criticize me. I think maybe my octopus's like brain, is that their brain? Whatever, is too small. So let me pause here and fast forward so you can see the end result, or at least a little closer to the end. Okay, so I have made the octopus head. I'm adding on the legs. I know nothing there is really going to be too thick that it would explode in the kiln. And I'm going to poke a little air hole underneath the kind of head of the octopus. So anyways, I'm blending in anything I attach so that none of it falls apart. And obviously I'll add water to just smooth out all the cracks. I think I'm going to go back and add a little face. Haven't decided if I want to add detail on the tentacles because that's a lot. And this is a really tiny octopus. But I'll check it out at the end. Anyways, I say that this probably should be one whole class period where you just make the thing you're going to attach. So that should be a separate class period. Okay, so I have a flat side and a skinny side. So now I'm going to attach my neck. Of course, the camera is not showing you guys. Okay, so I'm flaring out the bottom of the neck of my vase. I'm trying to get it really thin. Remember, the thinner it is, the easier and the faster it is to attach. So there it is. Now I'm just dragging it. I might use, what did I use? A tool? Yes. Oh my God, by the way, I had a cut on my thumb while I was making this, and it was filled with clay at the end. gross. So, you know, check yourself before you check your fingernails, check all that stuff when you clean up, but, you know, be aware of what's going on. I seem to forget important details when I'm making art. Okay, so I'm trying to make my neck pretty flat on the top, so it's pronounced. It doesn't really go, the transition isn't really straight. It's not a very skinny vase. It really fattens out right at the top underneath the neck. And I like that idea. That's what I'm hoping you guys will try. Almost think of like, I don't know what mimics this shape, but like I guess a traditional flower vase, but the neck is sort of smaller. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna try and find a section of my vase to kind of plant the little guy and then wrap the legs around. If anything falls off when you're doing this, take your time, fix it, adjust things. If you need to add more clay, remember you have to attach your object too. So even though mine is like sitting here on it, I still have to go back and attach it. It hasn't been, no inside seams have been like attached. It's just sitting on it. If you were to leave your octopus right here, not that you're making one, but pretend you are, and let it dry, it would fall right off when it dries. Okay, so now I made it so that one arm is like pulling at the top, the mouth of my vase. I love that example that has the dragon that is pinching the vase. I think that the beauty of this project would be if you guys really go, like really think about what are you adding and how is it going to become one with your vase? Make it something fun, make it something you like, but then how can you really have the two, you know, communicate with each other? So would you have it touching part of your vase and having it show like an indent or something? There's lots of ways. We don't have any colors. We're not doing this with any colored glaze, so we have to now just use our brilliant brains to make really cool art, since it's just going to come out that glossy white, which is still nice. Okay, now obviously you guys will have prettier vases because you took more time to smooth it. But this is in general the idea. I'll send you pictures. Good luck.